Shalom, family. I hope and trust that everybody's doing well. It's been a rough week or more here in Tennessee and in other states. Many people, hundreds, maybe thousands of people are still missing. We have another system brewing in the Gulf of Mexico. Don't know which way it's going to take, but there's so many things going on in this world right now. We've got inflation, where the cost of goods and services are way blown up. They have decided to, lower the inflation rate or something, trying to keep the economy going. We have stagflation, where people just decided not to buy anything or spend anything because of inflation. And then we have deflation, where what we do buy is they give us less for the same price or charge us more. Then we got these historic weather patterns. We have horrible things going on in the education system, where they're trying to teach our children whether that they don't know what a man is or a woman is, or the churches are giving in to sinful ways, going against the Torah law, which is our schoolmaster. The Torah law tells us what we should stay away from, what we should not be doing, so that we won't sin. Dreams and visions are being unraveled by many people. You just see people, whether they're walking with the Lord, whether they're not walking with the Lord, and they are having these visions. Some of them open visions. Children, old folks, just everybody seems to be, if they don't have a vision, they feel something. They feel the earth groaning under the massive amount of sin that people are committing. I'm trying to keep this still. I'm sorry about the jiggling part. Maybe I can fix it, but I'm trying to keep it still. We have plagues. People, I know my granddaughter, she became very ill this weekend. Difficulty breathing, fatigue, body aches all over. Went to the doctor. She didn't have a fever. The doctor was mystified about what was going on, and so he wrote her scripts for the various symptoms that she was having. My good friend started having some of the same symptoms yesterday, and then last night I picked up my grandson in Knoxville to bring him home with us for the weekend. He started complaining about the same thing. Difficulty breathing, drawing a breath, extreme fatigue, and body aches. So, I don't know, maybe that's a thing. My face is kind of swollen. I did something to try to make myself look a little bit better, but my symptoms are thalassemia, Mediterranean anemia. I'm not going to complain about it, but I do see how puffy my face is and how worn out I look. I want to tell you something. I don't want to keep you very long, but I want to tell you something that happened to me Thursday morning. You know how when you're in a twilight sleep and you're not fully awake and you're not fully asleep, you're sleeping, but you kind of are aware of what's going on around you or something. I guess that's how you would call it. But anyway, I heard as clear as day. This is what I heard. And it was the same voice that I usually hear in these dreams or open visions. And he said, they're not ready for the Siberian whisper. And I said, what? And then I woke myself up. I wish you had asked me whether to let them out, because they're going to start barking. I'm making a video. I'm going to try to continue this. I'm going to go in the house. I'm going to let him stay out here with the animals, and I'm going to go in because I really need to say what I'm saying. Don't let them back in, please. Just keep them out here. I'm sorry. But anyway, I really have to say this. I have to get this out. What I heard was they're not ready for the Siberian whisper. And I woke up talking about the Siberian whisper, and my curiosity got the best of me. I thought, what am I talking about? The Siberian whisper. So I pick up my phone and get on the internet, and I do a search for the Siberian whisper. And it is a thing. It is a phenomenon where up in a certain part of Siberia, when they breathe out, the air is so cold that it makes a crackling noise, kind of like rice being poured out of a bag. It's just that cold. Now, those people have been used to living like that. They're used to living like that. They know how to survive. But here in the lower 48, most of these states are not ready for that type of cold. And I didn't know anything about a Siberian whisper before that encounter on Thursday morning. And looks like we're really going to have to get ready for cold that we have never seen before. Many people who don't pay it any attention are not going to make it. I've never been to Siberia. I've never been to Russia. I did have some dealings with people coming back and forth from Siberia on my job, but we never talked about what they did there. You know, where I worked, you didn't really talk a whole lot about your job. If the people didn't need to know, you didn't need to tell them. So, anyway, there was back when I used to go to the Messianic Jewish fellowship group. I don't know if it was a congregation. I guess anybody could congregate, so it was very small. But anyway, the congregational leader's wife, she's gone on to be with the Lord now, I suppose, but I hope. And anyway, she said that she had a dream, and the dream was so very real. And this dream was that she was out riding horses with friends. And all of a sudden, the weather started to get very, very cold. Then ice crystals started forming, and then it got so cold that you could see the trees were freezing. Animals were freezing. People were freezing in their tracks, and they were riding, galloping, full gallop, trying to get back to the stalls, trying to get in out of the weather before it affected them as well. And that was like 15 years ago or so. But Abba tells us things to give us time to get ready. Yesterday, during the Feast of Trumpets, I read 1 Thessalonians 4 and 5, and I think in 1 Thessalonians 5 it said, do not, what is it? It was, let me see if I can find it. It talked about prophetic utterances. And even if your children say something that sounds prophetic, you need to write that down. Got this light making me look like I'm from the planet Xenon or something, but I'll sit down so I won't make everybody drunk. But this video is going to come to an end here in a minute. I want to put that verse out there. I'm trying to balance this phone. I hope it won't fall, but it's I don't have my glasses as usual. 1 Thessalonians 3 through, let's go through 1 Thessalonians 4. Okay, it says, we urge you, brothers. My goodness, if I could just, 1 Thessalonians 5, verse, I can't see that, 9, I suppose. You'll have to look it up, because as usual, I don't have my glasses, but it says, test everything. No, it says, do not quench the spirit. Verse 19, 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 19. Do not quench the spirit. Do not despise prophetic utterances. Test everything. Retain what is good. Refrain from every kind of evil. So, do not despise prophetic utterances. I'm not going to say that God gave me this. I'm going to say that I do have dreams and visions that come true, and that I am a born-again believer in Mashiach. I'm not a Christian witch, and I'm telling you that you're going to have to, the world is going to have to get ready for cold that we have never seen before. So, when I was a little kid, I'm 66 years old now. When I was a little kid, I grew up way out, well, not way out in the country. And we did not have running water. We didn't have an indoor toilet. We didn't have central heat and air. We heated our home with a wood stove. And my mother, my aunties, my grandmother Clara, they all would take clothing that was worn out or too little. We couldn't pass on to anybody else, because when my family finished with an article of clothing, it was not worth passing it on to anybody else. So they would cut them up and make quilts. These quilts put the quilts that we see in the stores to shame. These quilts were so heavy that you could hardly move under them. And when we got temperatures that was below zero, like I said, we didn't have running water. We had to carry our water in buckets. Everything we did, we had to carry water to wash clothes, to take baths, to cook meals, to clean the house, all of that. We had to carry it. So it would get so cold that the water in the bucket would freeze solid. But we never didn't lose a person to hypothermia. Used cotton batting. I don't even know how those women lifted those quilts. And then in the stove, the wood stove, fill it up with big chunks of wood, turn the damper down, and it would just kind of just be in there on top of coals, keeping the coals alive. Get up in the morning, open that damper, and whoosh, about 15 minutes, the room, not the house, the room where the stove was, would be warm enough to get up, to get the children, to get us up. It's going to be colder than that. So pray about what you've heard and prepare. It's better to have what you need, have what you might need and not need to use it, than to need it and not have it. Okay. Goodbye, and may the Lord be with us all.